And whoa, look at Magoo. Magoo streaks into the...
Thorpe's got basketballs. They lock handlebars as they go through, but Thorpe's done.
Here comes Bradshaw to the outside of Bale. He takes over the number 2 position, and Bradshaw is not done.
There they are, lined up along the grid. Those who will start the second moto. There has been some attrition. Ronnie Lachine, who led early in the first moto, has not started. The 2 key men to watch for as they come out of the chute: number 11, David Bailey; number 14, Brock Glover. And there they go out onto the race course. And there at the front of the pack, number 3, who you see with the lead right there, is David Thorpe of England. 11, Bailey is at the front as well, and the crowd roars as Bailey goes into the lead. And also right up there at the front with David Bailey, you can see him right behind him, is Brock Glover. So already the battle is set as Glover and Bailey have gone to the front early in the second moto, and no script could have been written better for the beginning of the second moto. Bailey in the lead, Glover on his rear wheel. Number 3, Thorpe is in third place. Behind them, the rest of the riders stringing out, and the drama is right at the front of the pack.
And I think, Jim, that both the Americans in the lead feel that, of course, they must win this moto. Glover knows that he has to. Bailey desperately, of course, trying to hang on and win the second one and thereby win overall. There's no question of holding back. There's really not a big factor of strategy. This is going to be an all-out race, and I think it's only in the last 10 minutes of the moto, when physical fitness begins to tell its story, that we're going to really see who's going to win this thing.
Right now, they are relatively fresh. They have had a brief period to rest between motos. Both men finished the first moto riding in relaxed fashion. Neither of them pressed to the limit because they were totally satisfied with their first and second place positions during the final laps of that moto. They trained together here on this course a week ago. They know each other's moves very intimately from years of racing against each other in the Supercross Series and the National Motocross Series here in the USA. And so they have all of the equipment they need to deal with this situation. It's just a matter of who is going to ride better in this second moto.
It's hard to think of 2 competitors who have more respect for each other. You know, I've been talking, Jim, to both these men in the last few minutes, and I have a hunch, it's just a hunch, that Brock Glover thinks he is faster than David Bailey, basically faster. And you know what? I think David may think so too. So if that's true, then Bailey obviously feels he has got to stay with Brock Glover, that he can't let him get away or he'll be beaten.
They have completed 1 lap, and those 2 have already put a few seconds between themselves and the third place bike. So at the moment, it is precisely the 1-2 battle which we highlighted for you at the beginning of this moto. David Bailey, number 11, 23 years old, from Axton, Virginia. Brock Glover, number 14, also in his early 20s. Glover from El Cajon, California, here in San Diego County. Bailey led in both motos here a year ago. Glover wound up winning the overall championship here.
Look at Glover fight to keep control of that. Glover has changed his leathers and his helmet between the 2 motos. You see him now in this bright pink. I don't recall his having worn that before in this event. Whether that was a psychological ploy, conceivably to work on the mind of David Bailey, a very conservative man, I don't know. It certainly surprised me to see Brock Glover turn up in pink. Nonetheless, it certainly isn't affecting his riding style at all.
I am told that Glover has worn the pink leathers in 1 previous race, that an all-star Race of Champions appearance, and that he regards them as a lucky outfit for him. They are, and not to just use the pun, but a shocking sight on a motocross course.
However, he is a man who physically could be described as in the pink.
And now I think we've taken that about as far as it will go. So we're on lap 2 of what for the moment is a 2-man showcase. There goes Glover on the inside. Brock Glover going by David Bailey. So now Glover holds the lead for the very first time early in the second moto. Glover, perhaps attempting to establish psychological dominance right away, has taken the lead away from David Bailey. Never ridden the second moto of a motocross can attest. This ranks among motorsports as the ultimate young man's pursuit. so dominated by teenagers and riders in their early 20s that the leader here, 25-year-old Brock Glover, is already being retired from motocross by some racing journalists.
I just turned 25, and I don't really think that's that old. And if everyone talks about it, and I tell myself I'm getting old, and that maybe, you know, that could happen. But I don't feel I'm really that old, and I think I'm at the prime of my career. I'm doing better this year than I've ever done, and I'm leading the outdoor championship, and I'm also leading the indoor supercross championship, which is the first time I've ever done that. So I'm pretty happy with what's going on this year, and I don't really feel like retiring as of yet.
And certainly, Sam, if he can hold on to the lead he presently enjoys and become the first American ever to win the United States Grand Prix Motocross 2 years in a row, retirement will be farther than ever from his mind.
Well, look at this. It's a beautiful ride, and Brock is pulling substantially ahead of Bailey right now. I think it's exactly this kind of speed, Jim, that David Bailey feared Brock Glover had. Glover and the Yamaha, an excellent combination. He's lost it. Unbelievable. He'd been pressing so hard, he lost it. Now he's trying to restart it.
David Bailey goes riding by Brock Glover into first place. Glover is able to get the bike going again, and there's such a large margin between those two riders and third place David Thorpe that Thorpe, by the time he reaches that point on the course, won't even be aware that Glover suffered a mishap. But Brock Glover has just put some suspense back into Moto 2 as he has ceded the lead to David Bailey.
If his confidence has not been shaken by that fall, then he should be able to catch Bailey again. Now, of course, we're stuff.
Well, this is precisely the opportunity that David Bailey has on last lap over this course. If he hangs on to win, as he apparently will, he will be the first man to win both motos in this event since the first American to win it, Marty Moats, back in 1980. And he seems to be accelerating just a little bit as he tries to juice up the crowd a little bit on this last lap, going by some of the slower bikes. Bailey is enjoying this overwhelming victory, not only over the entire field, but most specifically over the man who is his primary competition among top young American motocross racers. Brock Glover chased him in the early part of this photo. This will be, incidentally, only the third victory in the United States Grand Prix for the Honda factory, and that's a little bit surprising because they are preeminent among all of the factory teams in this sport for the past few years. Now Bailey, number 11, waving to the crowd, comes under the footbridge and makes one of the last turns onto what amounts to the front straight as he heads toward the checkered flag. California crowd in Carlsbad watches now as David Bailey, a Virginian, takes off his goggles, throws them to the crowd over the Devil's Drop, and with an easy victory, David Bailey has made up for a full year of disappointment. Last year he led both motos and didn't win. This year he won them both.